Davis.
Here.
Jim Heron.
Here.
Dusty Jordan.
Here.
Ronald Mayberry.
Here.
Ricky Murray.
Here.
Keith Nash.
Here.
Devin Pickard.
Here.
Ron Puckett.
Here. Oh.
And Wayne Thomason.
Here.
I got 13 present and 1 absent.
Now, we do have a quorum. The agenda was in your packet. If you've had a chance to look over it, take a motion to approve or any comment, any changes to be made.
Motion to approve.
Motion by Ron Mayberry, and second by Wayne Thompson. All in favor say aye. Aye. Any kind of what?
Discussion?
Was there any discussion? I asked for anybody on,
Oh, I didn't hear it.
I said, has anybody got, want to approve or any changes? You got changes?
Discussion.
Discussion, I'm sorry.
I got discussion. This, location, I've had a couple of calls today in regards to it. We got this information on Friday, to vote tonight, and, there's one location, a house that's sitting within 300 foot, that the gentleman is in Ohio. I talked to him. He is, opposes that this, permit would be issued. And, in addition, there's, within 775 feet, there's a building that's on a church camp. I went by there today to try to find out exactly what they do in that building. I think it's a district office, but I don't know, because I didn't talk to the people of that place. But given all that information and the location with some opposition of the people that within a certain amount of feet, I would like to make a motion that, table this until the next month's meeting.
I know there's not supposed to be any question, any discussion on the motion to table, but I don't know if a beer license is subject to the tabling. Our parliamentarian is looking it up as we speak.
No, I was looking at the address he was talking about.
If, not to get into discussion on the motion, but if the motion to table was worded as a motion to postpone, would there be any difficulty there?
No.
I don't know. We got it with a license, I'm not sure. I'd like to address those two issues. Notice has been put in the paper twice, once for December that we didn't meet, and the second time was for senior packet with a copy of the publication. So it's the will of this body if, and the reason he's doing that is because people that want to oppose it, because they're within the 300 feet, they have to be present according to law. They have to be present to object to it. So with that, Mr. Parliamentarian, I'm not sure.
Do you want to postpone indefinitely, or do you want to postpone until next month?
Well, the original motion was to table it until the
I'm
next,
sorry, to table it
until next month.
next month.
But I would be happy to reword it however it would need
You
to
can
be.
postpone it for a month or table it for a month, however wording you want to use.
But I made the motion, but if there's not a second. Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't hear.
Let's say to postpone, is that okay with you?
That, I will change it to postpone till next month.
All right, we have a motion and a second. There's no discussion on the table. So, Chris, we can do a roll call vote.
Matthew Barnhill.
Yes.
Claude Callacott.
Yes.
Clay Chesser.
Yes.
Danny Clark.
Yes.
Todd Collins. Steve Gianakis.
Yes.
Jim Heron.
Yes.
Dusty Jordan.
No?
Ron Mayberry.
No.
Ricky Murray.
Yes.
Keith Nash.
Yes.
Devin Pickard.
Yes.
Ron Puckett.
Yes.
Wayne Thomason.
No.
Ten yes to 3 no. Motion passes.
Motion passes, be tabled until, Casey, are you taking care of that one? Thank you. So we will do it next month. And that is all the business we have.
Motion adjourned.
A motion to adjourn.
Second.
Got a second from, motion from Mr. Giannakis and a second from Mr. Mayberry. All in favor say aye. All right. Yeah, sure.
All right. We'll call the Budget, Finance, Human Resources meeting to order. Chris, if you would, please take roll.
Matthew Barnhill,
Here.
Clay, Claude Callicott,
Here.
Clay Chesser.
Here.
Danny Clark,
Here.
Todd Collins, Steve Giannakis.
Here.
Jim Heron,
Here.
Dusty Jordan,
Here.
Ron Mayberry,
Here.
Ricky Murray,
Here.
Keith Nash,
Here.
Devin Pickard,
Here.
Ron Puckett,
Still here.
Wayne Thomason.
Here.
13 present, 1 absent.
13 present, 1 absent, we have a quorum. First item up on the agenda is the approval of the agenda. You should have received one in your packet. I got a motion by Commissioner Thompson, a second by Commissioner Mayberry. Any discussion on the agenda? All in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Ayes have it. First thing up is the public comment period.
One, sir.
Thank you. Just want to talk to the opioid deal and the request for cardiac monitors. I think that given the amount that is being requested for the new equipment, which I do believe that equipment is a good purchase, especially the CPR devices, which I think some of the current ones fail occasionally, and I've talked to a number of EMS workers, and they would like the new plunger type devices. It would make their work life better. I think would help retain good quality people here. I think there's a number of ways we can justify using the opioid funds within the guidelines of the funding. We can make the case that money can be put towards the EMS request. And I'd like to see us avoid hiring what is definitely not a full-time role to be a navigator. If there's been some discussion of hiring someone to help distribute the funds. On the plus side, those funds could be distributed more readily in smaller amounts to organizations, which I do think would be a good thing. And I do think given what's gone on in the past, and no, that's no fault of anybody on the opioid board, but it would be a better use probably even of half the funds if half the funds were going towards a position. But if we can avoid hiring that position, which really would, like I said, is not a full-time role, and find a way to get that funding to EMS, I think it would be very good for the county, very good for overall response, but definitely opioid response and other things like that. That's all I got to say. Thanks.
Anyone else on the list? Next up is the approval of the minutes of the previous meeting. Those should have been in your packet. I look for a motion to approve. A motion by Commissioner Puckett, seconded by Commissioner Barnhill. Any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it. Next up is budget amendment.
Budget Amendment 2640. These are cleanup amendments and insurance recovery for the assessor, property trustee, and sheriff's department.
A motion by Commissioner Chesser, seconded by Commissioner Puckett. Any discussion? Roll call vote, please.
Wayne Thomason,
Yes.
Matthew Barnhill,
Yes.
Claude Callicott,
Yes.
Clay Chesser,
Yes.
Danny Clark,
Yes.
Steve Giannakis,
Yes.
Jim Heron,
Yes.
Dusty Jordan,
Yes.
Ron Mayberry,
Yes.
Ricky Murray,
Yes.
Keith Nash,
Yes.
Devin Pickard,
Yes.
and Ron Puckett.
Yes.
All present voting yes.
Motion passes.
Budget Amendment 2641. This is a budget amendment for our sheriff's department. The first part of the budget amendment is asking to use additional revenue. They plan on doing a vehicle sale for their vehicles that were impounded. And they're estimating around $35,000, but they're asking to use 15 towards maintenance and repair and for law enforcement supplies. And the second half is to budget for smokeless tobacco sales, at the revenue and the expenditures.
Motion approved. Commissioner Thompson, seconded by Commissioner Jordan. Any discussion? Roll call vote.
Ron Puckett,
Yes.
Wayne Thomason,
Yes.
Matthew Barnhill,
Yes.
Claude Callicott,
Yes.
Clay Chesser,
Yes.
Danny Clark,
Yes.
Steve Giannakis.
Yes.
Jim Aaron,
Yes.
Dusty Jordan,
Yes.
Ron Mayberry,
Yes.
Ricky Murray,
Yes.
Keith Nash,
Yes.
Devin Pickard.
Yes.
All present voting yes.
Motion carries.
Budget Amendment 2642. This is asking for 2 TVs for the open meeting system located for this courtroom. We are taking it out of the direct appropriation grant, the same as we did the other part of the system.
A motion by Commissioner Barnhill, seconded by Commissioner Jordan. Any discussion? Just a little bit more on this. We'll probably put each TV on each side is what the thoughts was, and when we get this new software, it will allow those that are in the crowd to be able to see the voting and be able to know, you know, what the motion is and that sort of thing. And Casey, I know, has worked on it. Oh, yeah, that's right. But there's a lot to it there. Go ahead, Commissioner.
How big are these TVs? I mean, $1,500 a piece is
85 inch is what I would like to see, is, or as big as we can get for the money that we got.
okay.
But I don't know if you saw any of the other meetings that they use their software, but basically they can have it pulled up, and when we vote, it'll appear on the screen. If you're sitting in the audience, you're not, like right now, people can know how each commissioner voted. There's not gonna be a discussion on the votes. You click a button and it updates, so.
So like no roll call vote, you're saying just
Correct.
put your vote in.
Right. At least in the meetings that I saw, I mean, Casey would be running them and stuff, but there's some pretty good, and he can get you a link. Like I watched a meeting out of Madison, Wisconsin, and, they, you know, as soon as they hit it, it appeared, they had a screen and it appeared. They can do like a call-in vote, so they had a person on the phone and they waited until everybody locked their vote in, and then the person on the phone, they asked them how they voted, they entered that, and as soon as they entered that, they all appeared, and you knew exactly how everybody voted.
And I'm just asking because I don't know, the technology and me aren't that friendly. The best thing that's happened in all the years that I've been sitting here is when we started projecting the budget on that wall. I'm assuming while Crystal's sitting here that we'll have all that on our tablet now, and I won't have to keep turning around, and the audience will be able to see what we're doing on those screens. Am I assuming
I
correctly?
think so, yeah.
So the current, well, what we bought and paid for, is my understanding, is that we would be able to have the software to run the full county court meeting, not necessarily the committee meetings. We can do that, but I think there's a little extra cost for that, because I hadn't required, and that's why, oh, there's Casey. You can-
I think what he's asking, yeah, Crystal, they'll be smart TVs, they can stream the budget to it, so
So they'll be-
everybody here can see the budget on those TVs.
So they might be up there, it may not be on your little iPad.
Yeah, there you go.
Okay.
That's where I was getting to.
The only problem with the projector is that it's on this wall, and we have to set strategically to be able to see it, but me and Ricky and Commissioner Nash are the ones, and Michael Wayne, we did the budget before the projector, and that was an experience.
You said
And I'm
no,
hoping
you
this will
see it.
just be a better form of that.
Yeah, it's better than the abacus you probably used, more than likely.
I'm old.
Any other discussion? Roll call vote.
Devin Pickard,
Yes.
Ron Puckett,
Yes.
Wayne Thomason,
Yes.
Matthew Barnhill.
Yes.
Claude Callicott,
Yes.
Clay Chesser.
Yes.
Danny Clark.
Yes.
Steve Giannakis.
Yes.
Jim Aaron,
Yes.
Dusty Jordan,
Yes.
Ron Mayberry,
Yes.
Ricky Murray,
Yes.
and Keith Nash.
Yes.
All present voting yes. Budget Amendment 2643. This is an amendment for the election. I know we had spoke about it in past meetings. We needed a little extra money to finish off the last special election, and then we've got the May primary coming up. So this is budgeting for that.
And I didn't mention it, but 2642 did pass, obviously. Looking for a motion on 2643. Motion by Commissioner Jordan, seconded by Commissioner Callicott. Any discussion? Roll call vote.
Keith Nash,
Yes.
Devin Pickard,
Yes.
Ron Puckett,
Yes.
Wayne Thomason,
Yes.
Matthew Barnhill,
Yes.
Claude Callicott.
Yes.
Clay Chesser.
Yes.
Danny Clark.
Yes.
Steve Giannakis.
Yes.
Jim Herron,
Yes.
Dusty Jordan,
Yes.
Ron Mayberry.
Yes.
And Ricky Murray.
Yes.
All present voting yes.
Motion passed.
2644, this is a budget amendment from the drug fund. The sheriff is asking to be able to use additional money to finish off the year for vet services and miscellaneous costs related to the drug dog.
A motion by Commissioner Callicott, seconded by Commissioner Clark. Any discussion? Roll call vote.
Ricky Murray,
Yes.
Keith Nash,
Yes.
Devin Pickard,
Yes.
Ron Puckett,
Yes.
Wayne Thomason,
Yes.
Matthew Barnhill,
Yes.
Claude Callicott,
Yes.
Clay Chesser,
Yes.
Danny Clark,
Yes.
Steve Giannakis.
Yes.
Jim Herron,
Yes.
Dusty Jordan,
Yes.
and Ron Mayberry.
Yes.
All present voting yes.
Motion passes.
Budget Amendment 2645. This is a reclassification of funds recommended by the Highway Board. These were at two different board meetings. The first part was reclassification due to they had two long-term employees that retired. And the second part was just to meet a deductible for the insurance.
Motion by Commissioner Thomaston, seconded by Commissioner Jordan. Any discussion? Roll call vote.
Ron Mayberry,
Yes.
Ricky Murray,
Yes.
Keith Nash,
Yes.
Devin Pickard,
Yes.
Ron Puckett,
Yes.
Wayne Thomason,
Yes.
Matthew Barnhill,
Yes.
Claude Callicott,
Yes.
Clay Chesser,
Yes.
Danny Clark,
Yes.
Steve Giannakis.
Yes.
Jim Herron,
Yes.
and Dusty Jordan.
Yes.
All present voting yes.
Motion
That's
carries.
all of my budget amendments.
Thank you, Crystal. Next up is HR business, the county personnel policy update, and I think we all had that in our packet with some highlights. I suspect that the highlights were the changes, but I don't know who's gonna talk to that.
Okay, so the department heads met and they came up with a more unified policy. I know the committee was concerned about liability on the last one. This is more uniform. The changes that were made mainly applies to page 5. I don't know if y'all had a chance to read over those, but it's for employees hired after the passage of this policy. They are excluding highway department employees and school employees to this, for any prior year service related to leave accrual. It only applies to employees that have previously worked for Hickman County in a full-time position. They have to have left employment in good standing, and the rehire must occur within 1 year of the employee separation. If it's after that, they start over as a new hire. And only full year services will be recognized, no partial years. If you have any question, I think the department heads are here tonight to answer any questions that you may have.
You got a bunch of legislation, everybody will pass that.
Yeah, if anybody has any questions, feel free to ask elected officials that are here. The big change you're talking about was the one that has a lot of the yellow highlighting.
Yes,
The
yes.
rest of it where there was highlighting, those are changes as well. is that correct?
Yes, all of anything highlighted is changes, but most of them are just general updating.
Right. And it would be, we would be looking for a motion to approve the policy as it's presented to.
To recommend to county
Yeah.
commission.
Got a motion by Commissioner Jordan, seconded by Commissioner Thompson. All right. Any discussion?
Question, do all the department heads agree with this? I see a nod of everybody's head, so.
Any other discussion? Do we need a roll call vote to that, or can we just?
I don't think you have to have a roll call vote.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it. Thank y'all for your work. Next up is unfinished business. I don't know any other HR business. Is there any other? Okay. Next up is unfinished business. The chair is not aware of any. Next up is new business. And I'll pass around. Oh, something I got. So some 2.5, 3 years ago, I think, this commission, provided, I got it. Provided a grant, or recommended, I guess, the grant, I don't know the terminology, but basically, we ended up, giving a grant to, I got extras. To the town of Centerville, the amount of $4,100,000. It's there on the left-hand side there. I requested from Mayor Greer a breakdown of the projects, what has been spent, the estimated completion date, and the balance. So that's what this is. No action needs to be taken on this, but I definitely wanted you all to be aware of where it's at, and see if there's any questions. So they spent 1.8 million, so there's 2.3 million left to spend, and I think that those funds have to be spent by the end of this year. Is that correct, Crystal, on that grant?
Yes.
So.
So if I'm reading it right, there is at least engineering work already going on to run water to some communities in District 7 that have been asking for that for a long time.
That's what, yes. Mr.
The
Clark?
conversation I remember on that, Clay, is that, and it was some South Central people that were doing it. The engineering and the planning and the execution, there's no grants coming that big. So that was part of the deal tonight, that we passed the 4 million on through, that they take care of the engineering and planning and be ready when the next round of grants come through to execute the project.
Thank you for getting this.
You're welcome. I would think it would behoove myself to try to get an update at least by August of this year, so we can kind of see, at least give those that are sitting here now that should be at that meeting in August, some information, and then we can kind of go from there, so. But no further questions on that. We'll move on over to Mr. Jenkins, who's got to talk to us about index appraisal.
Pass these out right
Thank y'all for the time tonight. We, last April, Jason Munpower, the comptroller of the Treasury, helped push through a bill to, make a law that counties can do indexing. He has been on a mission to try to shorten the reappraisal times for counties. Now, what he's after right now is to shorten it to 4 years, which we're already on 4 years. But it is coming to where we're gonna be a 2 year, they're gonna do something to try to get it down to a 2 year or something like that. So, what we're looking at this year is to do indexing. That was the law that passed, that a county can do indexing in year 2 of a 4-year reappraisal plan. And what that does, it keeps from taking the big bite out of the apple, we just take little bitty bites out of the apple, as we go along. And maybe it won't hurt everybody as much. Also, the ratio cost us almost $800,000, and that hurts in a county our size and everything. It also took away from our elderly, took away from our disabled veterans, and I've got all those numbers if anybody'd like to see that. But the main thing is, we'll be in year 2 of our 4-year reappraisal plan. We will do what we call indexing. And indexing is where everything that sells in that neighborhood, now I say a neighborhood, it's not like, Ricky's next door neighbor. A neighborhood is a section that we try to pick out and take like a $500,000 house and compare it to a $500,000 house in that area. We try to take mobile homes and put those in areas. So we're comparing apples to apples. We had 9 neighborhoods until we started this. We've got almost 300 neighborhoods separated out now. So you can see what we've been doing and been trying to get us ready for this if y'all approve it. Last Friday, the state approved this plan that y'all are seeing right now. What has to happen is the state approves it, y'all approve it, and then the Board of Equalization approves it. So here's where we're at right now. So like I said, back to the neighborhood thing, they won't be county-wide. It'll just be what's sold in that neighborhood. So if a $500,000 house sold, and it's sold for $20,000 more than what we've got on it, we will bring that house up $20,000. The other side of that, if it's sold for $20,000 less than what we had on it, we have to bring it down. Also, in year 2, we will have to have a certified tax rate. So whatever we bring up, we'll have to equalize it out, just like we do in real pricing. Again, what this is gonna do, the big thing it's gonna do, and I've talked to Crystal about it a whole lot, it will help stabilize our tax base, throughout the 4 years. We have been sitting here for 4 years now, hadn't had an increase. The ratio took $800,000 with us, away from us. There's no way to recoup that until we get reappraisal. So that's gonna help us on this. But y'all have any questions or?
I've got a question. The map, or I guess the page 8, so this is,
That's the visual inspection.
that's the visual inspection?
Visual inspection
Okay.
that we have to do. That's part of our plan.
Okay,
The only thing that changed in the reappraisal plan was on page 3.
okay.
Another thing too, is our county is growing. We're getting more businesses in, we're getting more companies in that own businesses that want to have a tax rep, say, hey, this building's too high. They can call for a ratio in year 1 or year 3. If they do that, if we didn't have this, we would have to give them a ratio for those years. This takes care of that. They cannot call for a ratio, and hopefully it will shut them down on trying to, something they can do when they're getting some messed up.
So if a house sells for 20,000 more, just that house goes up in the neighborhood, not?
No, everything in that
Everything in the
neighborhood,
whole neighborhood.
everything in that neighborhood. I'll give y'all an example, and a lot of people may not know this. Fairview Boulevard, up in the upper end of the county. Everybody knows that's a neighborhood. We've got that pulled out as a separate neighborhood. Because that's comparable to everything that, you know, that's in there, it's comparable. You know, General Forest, that's a neighborhood. Riverview, over in Centerville, that's a neighborhood. You know, it's pulled out separate. We're not comparing Riverview with downtown Centerville, you know, if that makes any sense or anything.
And that or the index would happen in 2 years, right?
In year 2,
In year 2?
yeah.
And it would,
Unless a ratio is called for.
and it would be a net difference, right? Like, so if
Yeah.
one sold for 20,000, one sold for 10,000 less, it would be a net out of 10,000.
Right. Say in Fairview, on Fairview Boulevard, if a house in there sold for 10,000 less than what we had on it, we'd have to bring everything in there at $10,000, down $10,000.
What about if you had a house that sold $10,000 less, another house sold $10,000 more?
Then you get to hit the center of it,
You would
Yeah.
say it's same.
yeah,
Zero.
All right.
and zero it out. I mean, it's just what we do right now, you know.
Yeah.
We'll have some that'll sell for 190,000, and we'll have one that sell for 300,000. You just have to hit the center of it.
In less rural areas, or in rural areas, less condensed areas, there would be farms, I guess, like, or it'd be
Right.
like a whole.
Right.
you know,
But not, that's a good question. If you're in an area where, say, somebody has cut 5 acres out for their kids and they built a house, that's in that neighborhood, but you only bring that house up. You don't bring the land up with that too. You'll bring that house and that 5 acres up. Everything that's in that neighborhood that's on the house and 5 acres or something or less or something like that, you bring that up. You don't hit that big farm, you know, same.
Is this just more of an information, or do we need any action from this?
I need to go to county commission, if possible, this month, if possible.
I got a motion by Commissioner Barnhill and seconded by Commissioner Puckett. Discussion, and Commissioner Nash had hands.
Well, let's take the vote. I just need to ask, how do we make sure we do this right, what Randy wants. If it passes, I'm just trying to get some
Any other
logistics to this.
Any other discussion, or any discussion on it, shall I say, but after the motions? We need a roll call, or can we do it as a board? Yeah, send it to the county commission.
Yeah.
So all in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed? Ayes have it. Commissioner Nash, don't have to.
Randy, so are you needing a resolution that says
Yes.
we approve of this?
Yes.
Okay. Are you, who's gonna ramrod that, getting that resolution together?
I can't.
Okay. So we need a resolution that we approve of this, it needs to be on the agenda at the end of the month.
Right. I go over to the mayor's office.
Sound cool?
All right, next up is financing lease for heart monitors and CPR devices. So I don't know if Alan's talking to this or.
I'll let Beth do it, she's worked hard.
Okay, yeah, absolutely.
Crystal, you. So EMS, we had put out, this has been, 5 years in the making, to bring and purchase new Stryker LifePak 35s and Lucas CPR devices. We enclosed, you all got the information. With that being said, we have had an opportunity to evaluate both of these items, go through them. We would like to purchase the Stryker, the LifePak 35s. I know in the committee meeting the other night, it was said that the overall bid was more expensive for those than for the Zoll devices. With that being said, if you look at the breakdown on those, I hope I was able to explain Stryker actually, with their product, came in cheaper. Where we're looking at the differences is when we broke the bids down, Zoll did not include the battery chargers, nor did they include the mounting devices for their product in our trucks. So the nearly $40,000 extra cost is for mounting devices to put these in our trucks so they're secured, and also for the battery chargers that would be in our stations to charge the extra batteries. With that being said, they also include 8 years of total warranty on their product. If in 8 years, there's no new units that they have come out with, we can continue to use this platform and those units for as long as Stryker has them. We'll just be paying for the warranties on them. Both devices offer the leases with the option to purchase them at the end of the lease or to turn them in and purchase new equipment. So that's kind of where we're at. We're looking at a total cost for the Stryker devices at $555,625.04, and there were 2 options for financing on those, with leases at 3 years, 0% interest, and then a 6-year annual payment with a 2% interest rate on those. And Crystal's done all of the homework as far as the financing and options there, so I would defer any questions on that to her.
This can get us in the pipeline for making an annual payment, putting it in the budget line perpetually. Is that right, Crystal?
If you continue the lease over the years.
So that would keep us from having to come back and revisit this in 10 years. We can just kind of work it in there.
Krista, did you want to explain the financing or?
Well, when I was approached there, I was trying to find a way that we could split it up a little bit. $500,000, $500,000 is a lot of money for us right now. The lease option was the only way that I knew to do that right now. Any capital outlay line to buy it straight out is going to be at least 5%. So if you're opting to do all of the monitors at one time, this was the way that we could do it. We would, if the county commission is considering doing this, we would have to reach out to the state comptroller's office and ask permission to do this. And the budget committee would need to recommend a term of how you wanted to go forward. If they approve that, then it would come back to the county commission as a resolution to actually move forward with the lease. It can also be taken out of debt service or county general, is my understanding, because it is a financing lease.
Does this decision need to be made tonight?
We need a decision to send it to full commission, to send it to the comptroller's office for approval. It would still have to come back through our committee and then through the full court for final approval of the purchasing.
Christian Nash?
So if we agree to run this leasing option, the method of which we would use to fund that leasing option would still be up in the air. I mean, it could come from debt service, it could come from fund balance. But what about, hitting, the opioid fund? What about the hospital foundation? Could those do an annual transfer to handle that annual lease?
I don't think that there could be an actual transfer for those, but you could ask them to purchase a heart monitor. I know Mr. Post had mentioned the opioid. Alan has made a presentation to our opioid committee, and I think they are very willing to consider that. I think they were just trying to clean up some of the other contracts that we have going on right now. I don't think that we could fund all of them. There's about $206,000 left in the opioid right now, but I think talking to UT Smart, it is an allowable expense, but it would be, they would need to decide if they wanted to purchase one heart monitor or a percentage of the heart monitors, to justify, because we do use it for other things. The Health Foundation, I don't think that they've approached the Health Foundation for any funding,
We haven't yet.
but I think that is an option. But if you're gonna buy it straight out, then I think you can probably get a cheaper quote than this. Because the leasing option's always gonna be a little bit more expensive than buying something straight out.
So what do we, I mean, but what you're specifically asking tonight for is to move forward with the leasing option so you can go to the state. And that's really all that we're talking about tonight. So what happens if we say, yeah, we wanna do the leasing option, but then we wanna concurrently go and talk to the opioid board or the hospital and get some capital dollars from them? How would that affect any of that leasing decision, that leasing decision?
This leasing decision, I mean, you're asking for approval from the state, but if the county commission doesn't do that resolution, they're still gonna be asked again in the resolution, do you wanna proceed with this? So until it goes through county commission, I mean, you wouldn't have to necessarily go through with it. But if you do move forward with it tonight, to go to the comptroller's office, you will have to choose a term, because I have to submit all of that to them. Where it's coming from, and also, are you gonna go with a 3-year, 6-year? But it's not set in stone until that resolution is passed.
But you have to go to the comptroller's office with specific, and specifically that is an amount, the term, well, that's it,
Yes,
the
yes,
amount
I
and the
have
term.
to submit a full proposal to them.
But that amount and term can change.
Well, I'm submitting it to the state, so I think if you change the term, once you get in there, we would probably have to resubmit it. But I think it could be done.
And the 3-year and 5-year, I see two proposals. So one's at a total payment of $155,000. Is that what I see there? And then
One is for, the 3-year is for $185,208.34. And then for the 6-year, it brings the payments down to $97,453.52.
and these are warranty for 8 years. Is that what I
Yes.
understood? And that would be, so if we chose the second option for 6 years, is that what I heard you say, 6 years?
Yes.
That's $97,000 that will, new money that would hit, because we are currently not paying, correct? Like, that's gonna be $100,000, so that's 2 pennies. Based off of last year's budget, or this year's budget that we're in, so.
I do have a $30,000 grant that's coming to us. We're in the process of getting contracts and stuff like that right now, that we will put toward the payment. And then we're also in conversation with the opioid board.
Yeah.
And so possibly we could, put together a payment there.
Gotcha. That's year one, right?
Year one.
Commissioner Jordan?
Beth, you had
She's
mentioned
got
that
it
the
right now, this is just cardiac.
striker, if they don't change, then we can stay with it, forever, as long as they support it. Now, we've got Zoll now, correct? And
Yes,
have
sir.
had it. Now, it seems like they have, are these the second set or just the first set of Zoll?
I'm sorry, what was your question?
This is the second set of Zoll monitors. Yes, sir.
And they seem to have been,
It is. It's
have changed theirs every time. Every time we've had to get new ones now. We've got a lot of striker equipment, but we
Yes.
don't have these units. Does Stryker have a reputation like Zoll to change it? I mean, I know technology changed, but is it something that they say pretty consistent on theirs, or?
Stryker also, they all change. Stryker has been more consistent. They had the Zoll, Stryker, the LifePak 15s for 12, 13 years. Both of these are the newest technology that either one of them have. So with that being said, Zoll won't even offer us some of the same stuff because they're like, oh, well, this is the newest we have. You're not gonna need anything else. But
Until they need to update it.
right, right, and that's the reason Stryker offers on their platform, they send a service tech out to do all the updates in-house. Like, they'll just send it to us and be like, you know, here it is, and they push it through the computer system and it updates at 2 a.m. every morning. So anything that they're updating is coming directly to us. With that being said, I mean, in 8 years, if they say, hey, we've come out with a whole new line, we could, you know, trade all of our stuff back in and just continue our leases, if approved, you know, through you guys for as long as we needed to. But if not, then the Life Pack is the newest thing they've got, and we've got all the updates, then we just keep moving with it.
And Zoll in the past hasn't offered that kind of,
No, and they're not even offering us, if I remember correctly, they didn't offer us any kind of update at all. Because they just said, well, this is the newest product we have, it's gonna be good for as long as you need it. And we'll update you whenever the time comes.
well, if that were so with what we currently have, we wouldn't be here right now.
Exactly, exactly. The monitors that we currently have are 3 years outside of their window to do any updates with whatsoever without upgrading to at least a 3-year newer monitor than what we have.
Thank you.
Uh-huh.
So,
A question for Crystal. So if we went with the payment plan, are you saying that asking like the opioid board for that amount of money to make that payment annually is not an option? It's only an option if we purchase it all at once? Or did I misunderstand?
Because of the reporting to the state, because it's state money, I would say it would be better just to purchase the heart monitors. I don't know that it would be a good idea to do a lease payment. I mean, I could check on it, but I feel like it would be better to specifically say we bought one heart monitor or one heart monitor and one CPR device. Or
So we would own one, if we did it that way, we would own one and still be leasing the rest, is that?
yeah. And I could check to see if the opioid funding could do partial lease payments. I mean, if you were gonna do it like that, I would say they would fund part of the first year. I don't think it would something that they would say, okay, I'm gonna put 50,000 every year towards this. I think it would have to be something that would be voted on per year.
Commissioner Nash.
But the purchase of one would drop that, that lease payment going forward.
Mm-hmm.
And again, we haven't approached the hospital foundation, so if we could, health foundation, excuse me, sorry. The purchase of two would help lower that lease cost. But right now, what you want is approval of a lease, and while the amount probably we can do some adjustment on that, but the term is what you're gonna have to get set in stone, right?
I have to send the full proposal to them, what we plan on doing. The term, the amount, I'll have to send the amount as well.
So if we went subsequent to this meeting, if we came back and we said, okay, we wanna purchase one through X revenue stream, that would change that amount, so we'd have to start over from scratch.
I think you would have to send another proposal to the state.
What about if we just sent the proposal for 4 to the state and then we bought 2? If we could get no money, could we not pull it out of the general fund or something to buy 2, and then that way our state proposal stays the same for 4 of them, or?
Don't say that again.
Like if you just lease 4 of them to send it to the state, and then we just, if we couldn't, if the opioid board and the hospital board, we couldn't get the full funding for 2, couldn't we pull the rest of the money out of the general fund to pay for it?
I mean,
to make up the difference?
I mean, you could do any of those options.
That way we can go
Again,
ahead.
the general fund, we're kind of mid-year, our taxes are
Yeah.
just now coming in. I'm not sure exactly where we're gonna be at this, end of this budget, so I'm always careful on.
Yeah.
Commissioner Hart? Well, I'm hearing all this, but what we're looking for tonight is a recommendation from the Budget Committee to recommend to the county court, and it's gonna give us 2 weeks to work out some of the details, but a yes tonight's not gonna handcuff us in any way. If I'm seeing this right on what we do, and we have 2 weeks to talk about what Matthew's talking about and some other options. I'm rolling 2 or 3 different things around in my head, but the more we talk about it, the more confused we're all gonna get. But am I seeing that wrong? Right now, is there a motion on the floor?
There's not.
No, sir.
But if we can craft a motion simply to recommend to the full body to pursue this, nothing's really gonna happen until we meet the 4th Monday of the month.
But I think the recommendation would be to get a specific leasing
The
option.
recommendation is to be able to proceed by asking the state comptroller if this is an option, because we would have to get approval from them before we bring it back to commission. So if they didn't get back to me before commission met, then it would be the following month. Just depends, sometimes they're really quick, sometimes they're not.
Well, my question is some kind of affirmative action tonight to go to the full body. That we're not hurting ourselves on exploring these other options, and if I understand you right, it'll go to the full body, then it'll go to the state, so we could have as much as a month to 6-8 weeks to look at this. At no point in there are we tied to a specific
No,
deal.
we're not tied, but it will go to the state before it comes to county commission.
It leaves tonight, then goes to the state comptroller, then comes back to county full court.
And if we make when it lands back in the county commission, at that point in time, if we make adjustments on it, we're not gonna make the state of Tennessee mad or anything on it.
No, but I think if you changed the proposal that was sent, I think it'll have to go back to the comptroller's office for approval.
You go back to ground zero.
Yes. You'd have to
My
resubmit.
understanding, I'm sorry. My understanding, talking to the comptroller's office, when they approve these finance leasing, they wanna know exactly what you're planning to do. They're looking at your terms. We're purchasing from a SAVIC cooperative, so they're looking at the SAVIC contract. They're making sure that we're in full compliance before they approve it. And once we approve it, that resolution that we're bringing forth is gonna mimic the proposal to the state comptroller's office. Now, you can change it, but I think it will go back to the comptroller's office to approve the changes, and then we would move forward again.
But it would seem to be reasonable to state that if they approved 7, and we come back and say, you know what, we're just gonna finance 5,
Right.
they would likely
I feel like,
approve that.
But it's gonna go down. We're not gonna devise a way for it to go up. Well, not on purpose.
Crystal, these prices you put through March 1st, right?
I believe the proposal that he sent me said March 16th.
March 16th.
Well, I just don't wanna do anything that's gonna prevent us from tapping in to those other revenue streams like the opioid board or the health foundation. So if there's anything that we're doing that's gonna handcuff us on that, that's just what I wanna make sure we don't do.
I don't think anything will prevent you from asking for that, because like I said, until county commission approves that full resolution to move forward, this is just asking the state if it's okay to do this. So we can't move forward until county commission tells us to move.
Commissioner Mayberry?
I know when the health foundation meets, cause I'm on that one, but when does the opioid board meet?
It's usually second Tuesday of every month.
That'd be tomorrow.
Well, we met early this month, so it'll be next month.
That would've been too easy, wouldn't it?
Sorry. Sorry. Yeah,
Be after the budget meeting next month.
it's usually the day after.
That schedule for next month's meeting can be modified.
It could be tweaked a little, cause if someone was to come to the Health Foundation at the meeting before full court with a request, might have an answer about some of that then.
The Wednesday before we still got
Just looking for a motion of what the,
So,
what you'd like to do. Commissioner Nash?
I'm gonna go ahead and make a motion, and again, this is a caveat, because we all know that we're trying to do some other things. But at this point in time, we need to go ahead and prepare the documentation to purchase, to lease the 7, and the term, what term would you prefer, 3 or 6?
I would go with the 6-year.
Okay, 6. So to purchase, I mean, at least the 7 with a 6-year term, realizing that our intention is between now and the time this thing gets the trigger pulled, is for it to drop down, based on the ability to purchase outright from other revenue streams.
Got a motion by Commissioner Nash, second by Commissioner Mayberry. Any discussion on the motion or any questions about the motion? Should we roll call, I guess?
Yeah. Steve Giannakis.
Yes.
Jim Herring.
Yes.
Dusty Jordan.
Yes.
Ron Mayberry.
yes.
Ricky Murray.
Yes.
Keith Nash.
Yes.
Devin Pickard.
Yes.
Ron Puckett.
Yes.
Wayne Thomason.
Yes.
Matthew Barnhill.
Yes.
Bob Calcott.
Yes.
Clay Chesser.
Yes.
And Danny Clark.
Yes.
All present voting yes.
Motion passes. Next up, opioid funding update and navigator presentation.
So, I just wanted to kind of brief y'all on what was going on the opioid committee. This past year, the county funded 10 organizations to help prevent, treat, and aid in recovery from opioid abuse in our county. $460,700 was dispersed to these organizations for multiple programs. Some of the programs that we ran was some justice-based programs that supported adults and juveniles in our jail and justice systems. School-based programs to help provide education and prevent drug use in our youth. Community-based programs that increase awareness and community engagement and recovery to support the needs and health of people in the recovery process that needs help, doesn't know where to go. We have ran into some challenges. All of the organizations have did really well, had good intentions. There was an audit done by the opioid board just to make sure that all the spending was in the approved parameter. There's a few organizations that we're working with to pay back some of the funding, not because they had missed intentions, just because they just had other ideals and it just didn't fall what we thought the state would allow. Because we had some of these challenges, the opioid board was trying to come up with a way that we could better manage the money and still help all the agencies in the county. Recommendation from UT Smart Initiative was a navigator, whether it be a contracted service or a part-time position. And then I'm gonna let the county mayor talk to you a little bit about that.
I'm awake, I'm just clearing my throat, sorry. As you know, Crystal and I are advisors on the opioid board. We don't have any voting rights on there. However, the last time we met, actually they've been talking about it for a couple of months now, was using a central navigator to kind of oversee the funds, but have no authority issuing them out. They can still have to come to the meetings and things like that. But what they are is they're a navigator would ensure the effective, transparent, compliant use of all the opioid settlements funds. They'll coordinate, plan, and implement and report with community collaboration related to the opioid response initiative. They would serve as a central point of contact, pretty much, instead of instead of 7 people on this board trying to contact everybody, there'd just be one person. And then that person would go to the board and explain what was going on. They would work between the healthcare providers, law enforcement, behavioral health organizations, and all the community partners. The responsibilities will be identifying evidence-based programs while assisting with funding recommendations and tracking all the expenditures and ensuring compliance with settlement guidelines and preparing all the required reports. Now, I said that to say this, Crystal's been keeping up with that. I've been in there several days and Crystal's been banging her head on the desk. She's usually got a red mark about right here. So it's a lot for her to keep up with. That's why the opioid board recommended we go to a navigator. Now, this navigator, they would like to be maybe a part-time position. A contracted position is funded solely through the opioid settlement proceeds. It's no impact on the county's general fund whatsoever. I kind of want to back up and kind of speak to Mr. Nash, because he asked a question a while ago about the funding of the cardiac monitors, even through opioid. According to the state, we can probably purchase a monitor. Because there's a certain percentage that we can use for that. So I agree with what county commission's trying to do. I agree wholeheartedly. So that's pretty much it. That's if you got any questions, I'll be glad to answer them for you. Crystal can answer some questions either way.
How many people's on the opioid board?
There are 7. There's 7 board members, and Crystal and myself are advisors.
Okay, when you picked out these 10 groups or organizations, how were they selected?
There was Crystal, you might have to help me out, because there's a lot. They had an application process they had to go through. They had to request funding. They had to tell what the funding was for. We had to have contracts drew up. Am I on the right track? Had to have contracts drew up through the county attorney for them to sign to make sure they was following under the state guidelines of the paragraph E. I'm going to use it's what the state says that the opioid funding can be used for. So it's a long process actually.
And when these groups changed the board or whatever, I assume the board said, you know, these funds are only used for these certain things and can't be used for any other stuff. That I'm just looking on here. I don't. What was? I have no idea what was some of this. You know, we're getting some of the money back. It says no misuse with funds intended. What were some of them used for? I don't have any idea what caused some of the problems. Just Pearl Town housing fully refunded.
We were gonna do the opioid committee did an audit, and when Pearl Town Housing was contacted, they chose to give the money back instead of go through the audit. So they refunded the full
Okay, so,
amount.
some of this partial funding, Bernard community, whatever. What was some of the funding used for?
Okay, so the Bernard Community Center, they thought they were in compliance based on, they did their bathrooms to be ADA compliant to run some of the programs, but the state says that was not part of what it could be used for, so we're working up a payment plan for them to pay that back. And they're also presenting an in-kind proposal to the opioid board to look over. Some of the other ones were minor things.
I mean, I'd like to know, I mean,
Yeah.
like United Way, is there a United Way in Hickman County?
There is a United Way.
Where are they located?
Jim, I don't know where
They have no building here as per se, but they do a lot of work in
They're
it.
very active.
They are, okay, I didn't know if any, who was in charge of United Way here? Is anybody?
Debbie Rainey.
Debbie Rainey.
And then I think they've got Katie Harrington, is actually working under her. She's the one that goes out to the schools and does education and things like that.
Okay, Hope and Recovery.
Hope and Recovery, there was some charges that the opioid board didn't think that would fall under the state, like some religious materials and things like that. There was also some dental charges and eyeglass charges that the UT Smart said that they thought that we could utilize that if they did like a vetting program where they went through and made sure that it was from opioid addiction, like the dental work and things like that, but they didn't have that at the time, so we asked them to pay that back. And then there was another one, Booker D. I think there was some marketing that they're paying back, but marketing does fall under that. But they volunteered to pay the marketing back, but they also have some eyeglass charges and maybe some dental charges that they're paying back as well.
So these are going to people that are addicted to?
Yes, they're trying to help. I mean, their heart is in a good place.
Anybody validate that, or is that just?
Well, that's why they're paying back some of that, is because they didn't document some of the things that needed to be documented.
We didn't get Tim Waltz down here to run this, did they?
Commissioner Calico.
On the Navigator, Mayor, what are some of the other counties that are doing? Are they having some of the similar problems?
Well, actually, yes, they are having similar problems. However, when Mr. Trevor was here, Hickman County is kind of leading this pack, if that makes any sense. We're right where we need to be according to the state as far as the way we're doing things. When we sat down with him and we talked extensively about a Navigator, the state seems to think it's a great idea. He said there was, correct me if I'm wrong, there was a couple of counties that have Navigators, is that right?
Mm-hmm.
And I haven't had a chance to talk to those counties, but he said that's pretty much the way to go. Because it centralizes everything into one person.
Sure,
And then that one person comes before the board and explains whatever they need to explain, and then they vote on it, and then they just go in the process from there. But they're keeping up with all the paperwork, basically not to keep it out of the finance office, because obviously Crystal has to know where those funds are going. And a Navigator can't just issue money. Like, say the sheriff's department needed something, they can't just go, okay, here's a check. They can't do that. It has to go completely through the opioid board.
Yeah, I
And it's been a learning process for all of us.
Sure.
It's something new that's across the state, and we're just trying to work the bugs out.
I got Commissioner Nash, Commissioner Thomason, Commissioner Clark, and then Commissioner Mayberry. Commissioner Nash.
Well, we have 7 members of that board, and we have the mayor and Crystal as advisors. Y'all don't vote, y'all just kind of facilitate that. You're talking about a Navigator that's job is to not vote, but to facilitate. I kind of have an issue with hiring somebody to tell me how to spend money, when I really think, as much as I love both of you, but that's y'all's job. Y'all need to go do your job. Mayor, this is your job. I have a real difficult time hiring somebody to go do what it seems to me is, it's a short-term problem, and you've got a lady that works in your office, that's your staff. You need to go do that. I just don't think that we need to be trying to spend money to learn how to spend money. That just doesn't make a lot of sense to me. Now, that's my position, and I can be cajoled to be maybe something different, but my step one is, sorry, but you have to buckle down and go do your job, so. I yield.
Commissioner Thomas?
I was gonna ask the mayor whether or not he thought the full-time or part-time or contracted, but based on Commissioner Nash's comments, you know, I don't know that that's necessary.
Commissioner Clark?
Well, Keith read my mind on how we can handle it. I'm also thinking, you've got a 7-member board. I get the boards and everything. Are there any rules in place that we couldn't streamline that board? 7, if that were 3 people, and there's a lot of passion for this whole opioid thing. And could we find 3 good people that would really be on top of it, and that way the workload wouldn't fall totally on Jim and Crystal? Because I've got a real problem with paying somebody to give the money away because of the need for the money within the opioid thing, and what Mr. Post was saying, the need for the monitors is there. I don't think we got any payroll money in it. Could we? And I'm not knocking the board that's in place now, because I'm not on it. But you would think you could find a more work-brickable board to do this too, and handle their part of it. It's gonna take a lot of cajoling for me to vote to pay somebody to give away money. Because I can't vote for it and apply for the job. It's part of my problem. That'd be a pretty good job to have, getting a paycheck to give money away. That's a paid Santa Claus, is what it is. I may have said too much, but we need to look at some other aspects. How much of this can we handle, and would it be any easier if the board wasn't as bulky? I heard rumors of a county that had 21 county commissioners and went to 14, and the world got better from what I understand.
Anything else, Commissioner Clark?
That's it.
Commissioner Weber?
I agree with Commissioner Clark, Commissioner Nash said. I mean, I guess I'm talking to the mayor. Do you think that committee's kind of, I mean, it was new. The committee's kind of learned from their mistakes, one would think. And if they hadn't, streamline it till they get it figured out. But even if we hired this person, all this stuff has got to come in front of that same committee to get rubber stamped, yes or no. So I think we're on the right track of maybe narrowing that down.
Like you say, if I'm not wrong, too, that committee is fixing to change as well. We've got some people coming off that board and new ones are coming out. So that's fixing to take place as well.
I will say, I believe Commissioner, Carla was on that board, but we have not replaced her on that board. And I think it would probably be wise if we did replace. Now, I'm not applying for that job. I think that it would behoove us to have a commissioner on that board, because obviously if we're approving some of this, it does help to have one of us talking to it, at least in the know.
You saying it's replaced with a commissioner?
That's correct.
Right.
The commissioner that used to sit right here used to be on the board.
So, wait, Ron said.
Another one in the audience.
Commissioner Dawson.
I nominate David Pickard for that spot.
I honestly would be happy to do it, but I have a conflict because I'm the pastor of Hope, the church, Hope and Recovery, that is a part of it. So I'd be delighted to do it, but I don't know that I'd conflict would be able to do it.
Well,
Thank you, though.
I think it's something we need to think about. If there's somebody that can serve on that board, I think it'd be good. And I'm
Well, that's not budget business.
That's correct.
On Mr. Thompson's motion, that's not budget business. We can do that in a couple of weeks.
Yeah. I think that'd be good.
I believe there's people wanting to offer that board too, and we could just not replace them in the paring down, unless there's a rule somewhere that says these entities have to be represented and it takes 7 people, but other than us, I don't think there is any of that stipulation. Is the sheriff's department, law enforcement required? Is the hospital, are medical people required to be on it, or?
There was no requirements according to the state. However, I did call around to every county, especially in the South Central region, and we're the smallest one. We're the smallest board. When I had a mayor in Marshall County tell me there was 22 people on his, all I could think about was former county commission here. And I don't mean no pun in that, so I took it upon myself to do 7.
Commissioner Calcott, did you have something? I'm sorry.
I've changed my mind on the way I was gonna ask my question, so I'm good.
Okay. Any other discussion on this or any motion that anybody would like to make?
Is there any way we could see that, like, some where the funding went to, or whatever some of the funds were used for, that they're sending back, or?
The audit result, in-depth audit results is what it sounds like.
And there's also, the minutes that's gonna be in your package, they're very detailed on all of the audits, so there's a lot of information in there. If y'all would read over those when y'all get them, and if not, there's all the information that's in my office. If anybody wants to stop by and look at it.
Commissioner Herron, I do remember when they had the applications, and if I'm not mistaken, there were some that were denied based off of what their request was, and there was a pretty structured process to award and to rate those, particular,
It took over 3 months to
organizations.
get those
Yeah,
contracts.
yeah, it took a while, so.
Very lengthy.
All right, anything else on that? And then, if not, the last thing is the, what is the last thing?
Budget schedule.
Budget schedule. So you should have received a copy of that in your packet. Any questions or adjustments to that? And I requested Crystal to send that over to the school as well, because that was one that last year when we moved it up, because we did have it in June, we moved it up a month earlier. The school, they find out some of their funding a little later, so that's kind of the last one to roll in. But any feedback on that? Do we need a motion for that?
Usually we approve it before I send it out to the committees. I mean, not to the committees, but to the department heads.
Make motion approved.
Got a motion by Commissioner Nash, second by Commissioner Herron. Any discussion on that? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it. Any other, Commissioner Nash?
I know we've been here a long time, and I apologize, I won't take very much of your time. Everything I'm about to tell you, I'm gonna PDF up, and I'll send it out to everybody tomorrow in a PDF in the email. I get asked these questions, and or a statement, and that is, heat taxes are too high. And all I can say is, yes. Because I think they always are too high. But there seems to have been several months ago, some sort of thought process in the community that Hickman County the taxes are too high, we're out of control, tax rates are exploding. I don't even know all the comments I remember hearing. And I really didn't know how to answer that question. I mean, I'll be the first person to tell you, I didn't. So I had to do some investigative work to look at this. I tried to look at other communities around us and see how to do that. And it was really kind of challenging because, in Hickman County, if you look at property taxes and services that are paid out of property taxes, there's 2 entities. There's actually the city has a component of it in property tax. The county's got a component. Other counties have multiple cities. I mean, you look at Dixon, they've got how many police departments and a sheriff's department to handle public safety. So, but I really couldn't look at, I just had to look at what we were doing on the county level. And then I thought, well, how can we, categorize, how can we measure this as opposed to what other communities are doing, what other counties are doing? And the only way I knew to do it is just, you take the county collection, and, that's what's running those county services, and you divide it by the number of people in the county. And that tells you, okay, here's how much money each person in that county essentially is paying in property tax. And those property taxes are, as we all know, it's the cornerstone of how all of the services are funded. So I went and did that. And again, I'll send every bit of this to you guys with a couple other pieces of information. But, so I went through it, looked at property tax. Williams County's got a lot of people, several municipalities. Plus they've got a huge funding stream called sales tax that we don't have. But their property tax collection per person is $1,396 a person. Now, don't quote me on every one of these numbers. I had to kind of bounce around and look at the latest data, the latest census data, and some of it could be a little change. Murray County, $759 per person. Again, Spring Hill, Columbia, there's one other, Mount Pleasant is a municipality. So this is very watered down numbers. Dixon County, $720 per person. Humphreys County, $772 per person. Lewis County, $371 per person. Hickman County, $590 per person. We're more than Lewis, but we're less than everybody else. And the county property taxes are being paid. We did the wheel tax, and again, our wheel tax is at $35.50. Webster County is $25.70. Murray's $25. Dixon is $60. Lewis County is $65. Humphreys County is nothing, is $0. I'm not sure how they get away with that, but that's cool. So, to me, when I look at this, I go, well, anybody who wants to represent that Hickman County is overtaxed, it's hard for me to make that argument. But then I thought also, well, goodness gracious, part of if you're running a business, how much debt are you covering? How much debt are you holding? Again, same thing, debt per person. Williams County is carrying $4,400 and some change per person in debt. Murray County, $2,900 per person and some change in debt. Dixon County, almost $1,300 per person in debt. Humphreys County, $2,000 and some change. I believe Humphreys County got themselves in a pickle because they had some floods and some schools they get paid for. And they had no way of doing it other than to go borrow money. Lewis County, $553 per person. Hickman County, $586 per person. When I got on this a bunch of years ago in 2007, I asked Crystal this other day, that we were at $1,500 per person. And so again, whether it's the debt that we're carrying or the amount of property tax that's being used to go do the services that we've all agreed to, it's challenging for me to sit there and say anything but, if somebody says if property taxes are too high, I'm still gonna say yeah. But I would say, but not compared to everybody else. And the other thing that came out of this study, when I did this, and I want to send all this to you guys, is that growth doesn't equal lower taxes. None of this shows us that growth leads to lower taxes. In fact, the wrong growth, rather, leads to higher taxes. And so, as we're going to start looking at the new budget and the land use tax, the land use plan, we need to consider that, because that does not. It's a myth that somehow you can, have this exploding growth, and somehow that's not going to impact the services that are required, and the services that are required are it's got to be paid for in property tax. That's how we do it. Somebody did say something the other night, and I wanted to make sure I made this clear, that the last couple of years you know, Hickman County spent a lot of money, and we have. We made, I think, an unprecedented investment in public safety in the last 4 years in this county. Unprecedented. I don't think, I've been on this court for almost 20 years, I've never seen us do what we did in the last 4 years. Because we have a partner right over there that we felt that he had our confidence, and he has shown us to be confident of our trust. And we've invested money that we've never invested before, ever, in public safety. But you know what? As much money as we gave that guy, there's unintended consequences. Sheriff, we see that in the jail budget now, don't we? We took them off the streets, and it's cost us more money because we got more people in jail. So there's still unintended consequences, but we did the right thing. Our streets are safer. But what we did, we didn't just spend a bunch of money flippantly, and I'm looking at all y'all, all of us did it. We made an unprecedented investment in public safety, and yeah, that hurt us. That cost us some money. But it seems to me at this point in time, it's well worth it. But we're still gonna have some struggles because, again, all we've done is took the bad guys off the street, and now we're paying for their health care in some cases. And we need to work on that as well. And Judge Lane is doing a good job of helping us, you know, get that population count down. But you guys, y'all needed to have this information in front of you. If somebody comes in and says, hey, Hickman County's taxes are too high, well, say yeah, but not compared to everybody else. And we're not gonna sit there and, you can't look at this, at any of these numbers, and say that somehow unmanaged growth is gonna help us. Unmanaged growth is gonna kill us if we're not careful. So, I'll bundle this up and send it all out to you, and there'll be a couple other studies that you'll have with it, but I just wanted to give you guys this. I said the other night that I'd bring it, and there it is.
One other thing about new business, next budget meeting we have, talk with Casey, and we are going to play around a little bit with the voting so everybody can be comfortable with it before we have the full meeting in February. Is that right, Casey? So we'll be able to at least test it, do some mock voting, that sort of thing. We may, I don't know, we can vote on Casey's hair color or something. So we're looking forward to that. Any other new business? I'll take a motion.
I look forward to that.
Motion.
I got all the confidence in the world.
Commissioner Barnhill, second by Commissioner. Mayberry.
What a kicking on ours.
Oh, that's very technical. Already made.
I did.